Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is yet another video I want to criticize my own government. And so this SM Lee's statement, Hsien Loong is currently the appointment is now senior minister, basically a mentor to other ministers. He was the previous prime minister, so we have changed, Singapore have changed the prime minister, and basically he at this Chinese New Year dinner thingy, said that Singapore must adapt to a new reality where United States is no longer prepared to underwrite the global order, which I find it ridiculous, because this is a total wrong assessment, I would say, of the current situation that is brought about by Trump's election and inauguration as the president of the United States. So we scroll down. He said that Singapore is now must adapt to a new reality of a far less orderly and predictable international environment. And he said that international politics is just as tense as ever. Then there's a lot of uncertainty, saying that the new US administration is a significant new factor in shaping global affairs. So, and he said that the United States administration under Trump is taking a very different approach to government and the world and defining US interests more narrowly. It takes a transactional approach to achieve its immediate objectives, and adding that the US look at tariff favorably as a preferred policy tool and an external source of revenue as a way to force other countries to make concession. And so I will criticize point by point, but anyway, so. And he also highlighted that the United States have withdrawn from multilateral commitments like the World Health Organization and the Paris Agreement, saying that the United States is no longer prepared to underwrite the global order. And this makes the international environment far less orderly and predictable. So, and he said Singapore must, like all countries, adapt to this new reality as we seek strong ties and friendship with the United States. So, and so U.S.-China relationship is have a lot of fundamental difference unresolved. War in Ukraine is entering its fourth year. Middle East has a temporary ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, and fundamental Palestinian issue remains unresolved and probably worsen. So he said that while Southeast Asia is at pace, potential flashpoint remains in Taiwan Straits and South China Sea. Everything below this one is internal Singapore politics. So I have to criticize. This is a wrong assessment of the situation, and this very early in the Trump's administration. So I mean, adapt to new reality is true, but to say United States is no longer prepared to underwrite global order is nonsensical, because underwrite is like it's like putting a responsibility on United States to do more than other country. Makes zero sense to me. So first thing first, he said that the United States is now taking US interests more narrowly. But most countries actually take things very narrowly, and United States don't, because United States was believed that they are the hegemony. So now they don't feel like it was a hegemony, as the rising powers in Asia makes it realize that no, they have to be more assertive. That is just a natural thing to do, because if United States don't do that, United States will go into decline. And if the United States go into decline, Singapore will go into decline, possibly, because we are very aligned with the Western countries. So, and transactional approach is very normal. Tariff or no custom duties or whatnot is a norm in every single country. So this is not particularly something special. This is just simply criticizing that United States now do not allow free selling of goods into United States. With no tax, which if you try to export anything to most country, you need to pay some kind of tax, or at least the consumers will have to pay the import tax, tariff, custom duties or whatnot. This is nothing particularly special. This is just another way to say that we are so used to it, that United States is is always willing to underwrite itself, for everyone else benefit. So, and as the external source of revenue and force other countries to make concession, the reality that this external source of revenue is not on other countries. When you tariff your product, the tax dollars actually is paid for by the Americans. So So to say that it's an external source of revenue, I'm not sure is it accurate to really put it that way. It's not the selling country that is paying it. It's the seller, the buyer that is actually paying the tax, to pay the tariff. And to force other countries to make concession, that's normal. I'm not sure why is it so abnormal in terms of that. China does something different. They basically block off their tourists from entering, let's say, South Korea because of the THAAD missile situation. They also block off tourists to go to Taiwan, also similarly to force Taiwan into certain concessions. Big countries forcing concessions on smaller countries is a natural thing in the global order. This is a natural thing. And if you go even further to the past, then you're going to see wars. Like in the colonial era, the British Empire basically gathered with other European countries and invaded China, which is also known as the Opium War, to force opium trade into China. So like this is always part of geopolitics. And to honestly, it is a way to force countries to really come to the negotiation table, to force them to do things that Donald Trump or United States really needs them to do. For example, now Canada and Mexico willingly now send 10,000 troops each to the border to help to secure the border. Why aren't the border was secure at the first place is beyond me. Of course, United States themselves have themselves to blame as well, because the previous administration also don't give a damn about their border. So now with the tariffing, they are forcing countries to change. So to say that the United States is no longer prepared to underwrite the global order and to make the international environment less orderly and predictable is actually the wrong assessment. The actual situation right now is the United States is now prepared to reset the global order, to force the international environment to be more predictable and orderly from the perspective of the United States. Because currently the global order is extremely unpredictable and totally not orderly from the view of the United States. It's not. And if you, let's say, align yourself with the United States, then things will become more orderly in terms of from a country's perspective. If you follow the United States, it becomes more orderly. If you don't follow the United States, then of course it becomes very unpredictable, because you don't know what the United States is going to do to you. But that is why there is this. That's why Donald Trump is doing this reset. They are resetting the global order. They are not prepared to underwrite the global order to the detriment of their own national interests. So to say that we must face this new reality that the United States is unwilling to underwrite the global order to their own national against their own national interests is ridiculous. So we must first understand what is Donald Trump's plan. It's not about redrawing from the global or international multilateral agreements for no reasons. They are redrawing because they have specific problems with all these various organizations in the way how they operate. And in the United States point of view, some of these agreements or organizations are corrupted, and they are demanding reforms. So for Singapore, depends on whether they want to stand with the United States or do they want to pivot more towards China, which I feel like under at least Hsien Loong's or this SM Lee's point of view, we should go more towards China, which personally I find that to be a mistake. I find that we should stay more neutral, and the right way to say is that as United States try to rewrite the global order or reset the global order through the retreat from multilateral commitments because of the complaints of all these various organizations, Singapore is ready to talk and work with United States to try to see how we can reform all these different organizations and help to advise and help to contribute in order for United States to return to all these various multilateral commitments. It's not to say that, they retreat, so this is the new reality, we just have to live with it. I think that is the wrong way of doing diplomacy. The correct way is that we have to seek understanding, and we have to show to the United States, under Donald Trump. And honestly, this is not going to be a short-term thing because the MAGA movement is too strong. This is going to persist after Donald Trump leave office. So it is important that in small countries, especially very Western aligned countries, be it like Singapore or be it New Zealand or Switzerland or Norway, whatever, the idea should be to understand Donald Trump's point of view, to work with the United States to try to see how can we reform the organizations in a way that the United States feel comfortable to return so that we can continue to have a global order that everybody is happy with. And if the United States going to become very authoritarian, then of course there's no point to be with the United States. But at this moment, it doesn't look like that is the case. I think what Donald Trump and his administration's complaints are all valid. Now, there is a lot of valid points like Paris Agreement. Why is the first world countries have to do more stringent restrictions on themselves while the third world countries continue to be able to burn coal? That makes zero sense. Honestly, either you join, everybody follow the same rules, everybody have to quit coal, or at least reduce on a yearly basis by a certain percentage until it goes to zero coal, which is clearly not the case. So the first world countries are already suffering in trade with, let's say, countries like China. Then they have to continue to bleed money while China continue to take money, and then they are still earning money from the trade and no trade competitions, and it makes zero sense. Nothing works logically in the international order right now. So to say that the international order has been orderly until Trump came to the power and then withdraw and then cause disorder, it's not the case. It has always been a bit warped, and World Health Organization is the same. The is not independent enough, in my opinion, and I felt like the way they handled the COVID crisis is ridiculous, very poor, and is something that Singapore ourselves go against WHO's recommendation, and we actually close the border to China. So all this is just ignoring that what even Singapore ourselves done. We don't even trust the WHO's own recommendation. So and by that we actually save a lot of life in Singapore because we are very exposed to China, because we have a lot of travelers coming from China. Because there is Singapore is like almost 70% Chinese. There is a lot of movement of people between Singapore and China. So all this is just weird. Like it felt to me like it's the same old problem that I seem to have observed, that our Singapore leaders, especially Loong and probably a few of his advisors and whatnot, have been reading too much fake news. Because you have to understand, they are still human. They read the mainstream media, and then they read. And if they happen to be reading New York Times, they're reading Washington Post, they're reading all these mainstream media that is anti-Trump, then they're going to have the entirely wrong perception of what's actually happening. Like for me, I don't read all these things. I simply just watch the press conferences. I just watch the presser, and I try to understand exactly what was happening, what is being mentioned. I watched the White House spokesman or spokeswoman explaining the points that Donald Trump may have made certain statements, and then try to listen to clarifications that's asked by other colleagues in journalism to ask is what Trump means or whatnot, and then she clarifies the details and makes perfect sense. There is nothing very illogical in terms of what the United States is doing. The only difference is that the United States is just simply now putting it plain and simple. They just open it up and then say it in the plain. Rather than in the past, what the United States do is just everything is espionage. Everything is CIA and everything is hidden. They use the NGOs to try to subvert other countries. No. Is that the global order? Is that really that stable? I do not know. Now we are seeing, now it's predictable. I'm not sure. Is it really that predictable? Like if you are Georgia, if you are Ukraine, is that really that predictable? The international environment is extremely unpredictable. For Ukraine, even for Palestine, both of them find the international environment super unpredictable. They don't even know what to expect. So I'm not sure. These are just things that I cannot agree with. I think this is the wrong assessment, and I felt like him leaving the prime minister office already is now setting his successor into some kind of problem, because ultimately he is still very influential, but whatever he say is going to be taken seriously on the Washington side, and they're going to say like, whoa, Singapore is trying to be funny. And this is not the first time this has happened. In 2016, when Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump was still running for president, just within that 1 month, because in those days Singapore was negotiating the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership with United States, with Obama, and Trump have said that he will not sign the TPP, and then when the journalists were asking Hsien Loong, that was like within a month of the election, whether like Donald Trump is not going to sign the TPP. Hsien Loong, this guy here, says that Donald Trump will not become president. He don't believe Donald Trump will win the election, and bam, Donald Trump become the president. And for that 4 years under Donald Trump, Singapore do not have a US ambassador. And then what happened is that he leads an entire team of ministers go to United States and buy a whole bunch of 747s, Boeing 747s for the Singapore Airlines. This is the kind of stupid thing that we do. So don't say stupid things. No, just say that the United States has changed under Donald Trump. No, they are going about in a different perspective in terms of geopolitics. They have withdrawn from these various organizations for their concern. Not that they are going to underwrite, or they are no longer willing to underwrite global order. Just say that the United States is changing, and there is this reset, or there's this massive revolution, or things is happening within the United States and in the geopolitical realms, and we need to be prepared for whatever turbulence or wave or tsunami that is going to come our way. We must adapt to this new possibility of more turbulent world. Don't say new reality, because the United States no longer to prepare to underwrite the global order. This is like asking for trouble with United States. So whatever it is, this is just stupid diplomacy. I'm not sure. I think he's sabotaging his successor, and I don't think this is the position of the current prime minister, the new prime minister's cabinet. I don't think this is this is his perspective, or the direction that Singapore is going to take. So I'm just not happy with this headline. And when you look at another by Straits Times, they focus on something else. No, they also quoted the same. Singapore US is no longer prepared to underwrite the global order, because this is a huge statement for him to say, and 100% is going to be quoted, and this just making things really difficult for Singapore. So anyway, I'm just not happy with this. This is stupid. This is the same thing as Singapore went to sanction Russia and then realized that we are the only country in Southeast Asia doing it. This is just stupid. It's just so damn stupid. So anyway, thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and Singapore leaders, come on, stop sabotaging ourselves, and I'll see you guys in the next update.